Hey guys, I'm going to show you the last part of the project today. Once you've got done with your Sharpie, you've drawn all your symbols, you've outlined them, and you're ready for watercolor paints, I'm going to just go over again what I'd like to see you do when you work with the watercolor paints. I finished up this one here. I put in some more symbols. I started off with the Minecraft person, a symbol for that. Baseball. I added a sun up here. I really like those sunny days. Flowers symbolizes just kind of the planting method and going out there, and flowers are just nice in general. Water. I actually like rainstorms too. Music. There's a bike here. I like to go biking, and then there's a paintbrush because I enjoy painting. What you're going to be using today is watercolor paints, and if you forgot how to use them, we need, first of all, the paint trays. They're going to be located on that white cabinet. Make sure that you always leave them open when you're finished because they're going to be wet and you want to let them dry out. You also need some water, and then you'll need a paper towel in case you need to get some of the water out of there if it gets too wet. And you'll also need some paintbrushes. I like to use a couple different sizes. You can use the smaller one since this is a little bit smaller painting. I might want to use that for some details, and then the larger ones for some bigger areas. When getting started, you can do either wet on wet method, or you could go in and just, if you want solid color, go ahead and do that. So for example, if I want, let's say I want one of these raindrops right here to be solid blue. I'm going to use a smaller brush because it's not a big area. You're going to put a little water in there, and what I'm trying to do is get a lot of color to come out now. So I might have to go back and forth here when I get started to get a lot of water in there and try to get a lot of color on that brush. I'm just kind of turning it around here. I'm not pushing into it, I'm just trying to get a lot of color right on the brush there. Then I'm going to go right in. I'm just going to start painting this with the dark color. And since this is a nice watercolor paper, it goes down pretty good. If you want to lighten it a little bit, I'm just going to go into some water here and just kind of move it around. Just like that. And taking your time, doing some details there. Okay. I could go into this one too while I got some blue on there. Okay. Let's say I'm going to change some colors now. You're just going to use the water to clean your brush out. I'm going to use this bigger brush now. I'm going to do kind of the background here, this area right here. I'm just going to add some color. So I'm going to add some water first without putting any paint on there. And this is kind of neat because you can let the colors blend and do different things. Just going to put some water there, just in the area where I want it to go. Be careful you don't put it into one of your symbols that you don't want the color. You're just putting in that area where you want the color to go to. So let's do some warm colors maybe here. Maybe I'll start off with some orange. And I'm just going to put the color right on top of that and let the colors bleed together. Since it's wet there, it's going to run around. Maybe I'll put a little red in there as well. Kind of let them bleed together and do some things. You do have to be careful with the wet on wet because it can be messy and they can start to move around too much. But if you do get too much color in there, or too much water where it's dripping around, you could take a paper towel, and this is where you'd want to just kind of dab at it to get some of that water to come up. It does take a process to do this. Plan on 2 days for the painting part of it, because you wouldn't want to paint something right next to another thing that is already wet because it's going to bleed together. So I like to work the whole picture, working a little bit up here, waiting for that to dry, and then painting down here. Again, it's not a one-day type of painting. You have to kind of take it in steps. Also, if you have some of these paints that are almost done, like this yellow one's getting kind of low, I would make sure that I would use it up first though. I don't want to go get a new one until it's all gone. Got to be responsible and use the materials that we have. Just like that orange crayon the other day at the assembly. Gotta use them too. So, there's a little mistake there. I did have some paint go on there. That's okay. You know what? I can always dab on it. You know, on this outside too, not a big deal. You can actually test colors on the outside since we will be cutting them out at the end. So not a big deal if you get paint out here. And this might be a place where you want to test out different colors to see what happens. All right. Good luck with your painting.